everyone, Jay here from Challenger Approaching, and I wanted to make a tutorial that is a little complicated, but is my favorite thing that we have learned how to do for our streaming. And that's how to separate, like Discord and Skype, away from your desktop sound, like your game and your YouTube videos and stuff like that. So, because we are a group of guys who stream together, and we use programs like TeamViewer and Parsec TV to screen share. But when the sound of the computer gets sent through to other people watching, they hear themselves with the Discord call or the Skype call and stuff like that. So we learned how to separate them with virtual audio cables. So what I'm going to show you is a free way that I found. A lot of people talk about VB Audio and their way of giving them a donation that gives you 2 free cables to use and stuff like that. But I found there's also a free way you can do it with one of their programs without having to donate. They'll also show the donation option as well, because the free method works, but it's not the most convenient, as you'll have to see. But that'll work from there. But that's just my way. If you can find other virtual audio cables, that should work just fine, as long as they have a playback side and a recording side. But without further ado, let's get into the free version here. Okay, so we are going to go to VB Audio software website, which I'll put a link in the description for you to use to come here. And the first one we want is on the virtual audio cable tab. And we come on down to the download section where we get the VB cable driver. So we'll download it. It'll show up there. Nice. I can show it in the folder. And I'll just drag it onto the desktop here so we can see it. Okay, cool. Get it out of the way. And it's a zip file, so we'll come here and do extract to a little folder, which inside will be all your files that you need to install. And the only ones you need to worry about are setup and setup 64, which means you need to pick if you have 32-bit or 64-bit. I have 64, so I would use this one here. And you don't have to, but with audio, it's a little tender and sensitive. So whenever I can, I try to run them as administrator. Well, when I come here, what's going to happen is that it's going to say remove driver instead of install, because I had to set everything up beforehand, because this program's asking you to restart when you're done installing the cable, and the program I'm going to show you here in a second. So don't restart yet. There's one more we need to get once you install this one here. I'm going to close it. Already got him down there. And the other one is coming back to their website, and you need to go to Banana. And I'm sorry, I love that program name. Anyway, so under here we want to get the install file, which you can get the zip file of the install. I just prefer the install one myself. Get that one here, and we'll let that kind of run through. Nice. All right, I can right click that one, show in folder, and again, just gonna drop it here onto the desktop. Now this one's not a folder, a zip folder, I think, so you can just right click it, run as admin, get the same kind of window. Oh, well, okay. This is a new thing that Windows is. I need to turn this little alert off. I'm going to say install anyway. I trust it. And then it'll ask me for the next one, okay. Oh, computers, yes, please install. And good. You'll get a similar window with the same kind of icon. Now, again, for me it says remove, but for you it's going to say install, because I already have it ready to go on there. And at this point is when you'd want to restart your computer to complete both of those installations at the same time. All right, and I can close it, and I can show you the program. But this, what it's meant to do is that you set a microphone and a playback device, and it'll combine them together into either an audio guy here or a virtual one later. Now, I'm not going to get too into detail now. I'm actually going to come back to this later for that. But now that you have this program, close it down. And go into the playback devices. And now, normally for me, I only have the speakers. But I now have the cable input from the first files that we ran. And then these two for installing Banana. If you get the non-Banana version, you only get one cable, but for the free version of the setup, you're going to need two. Like I said before, these cables, because they're virtual, have a playback side and also a recording side. Now, the recording side is very important because what I had to learn was that there is only one playback device, or two, depending if you use one like a microphone or something like that, that actually play the sound to your headphones. Like, if you just make this guy your default playback device and try to play some sound, you won't hear anything because they're not actually connected to your headphones in any way inside the computer. So you can make that connection because you have it on the recording side. You go to Properties, Listen, and then you can check the Listen box here and specify what it's going to be listened to. Now, Listen is essentially duplicated. So you will duplicate everything on cable input onto speakers. And I pick speakers because, like I said, that's the device for my computer that plays it to my ears. You need to figure out which one it is for you. I think that's the default for most computers nowadays, but you never know with models and stuff like that. So just pay attention to what one you need. All right, so that's already set up there. I can cancel, and that'll be good. And you want to do the same thing for one of these two. It doesn't technically matter which of the two, but I'm going to pick the voice meter output one here. So we go into Properties, again, Listen, and again, check this box, and set that to speakers. So both things are getting duplicated to the same device going into my ears. And then you want to right-click and make this the default, which the options aren't there because it already is. But yeah, you want to make this the default playback and default communication if you have that option as well. Just put them both on there. And now every program that opens, like your browser playing YouTube, is going to send it to this device and then duplicate onto speakers to go into your headphones. And now that that's said, we can go into phase 2 of our operation. And that is to go into either Skype or Discord, which the settings here will be the same. You come on in here, and you're going to be under voice and video. I think that's what it's called now in the new update. And you find your input device and your output device. At the moment, all we care about is the output. Where are the voices of the people in your call being sent out to? And now that we made that listen happen, we want to find the voice meter without auxiliary. There you are. Okay, so no auxiliary. There. Okay. And that's it. We can go ahead, escape, minimize that back down. And essentially, you're set from here. Because what's happening is that every program that you play, like YouTube or anything like that, is going into cable output first, and then being hopscotched over onto your default or your original playback device, which is speakers for me. And then Discord, on a separate, entirely isolated path, is taking the voice meter output and going on the speakers that way. So you still hear them both combined in your ears, but in the background, they're separated from each other. And then the ways you can use this is one, like OBS, and, oh. Well, prepare to see infinitive, because here comes OBS. And we're going to go into settings, and go into audio, and we're going to look at our devices here. So you can see, I've already got cable input set. I don't want it to be speakers anymore, because I don't want to have those two combined. So we do cable input to hold the, like I said before, the YouTube, the game sound, stuff like that. And then we also have voice meter output, which is the recording side of the voice meter output tab, that one. And that one is your call and everyone else's voices in there, which is nice because Discord also has individual volume bars. So you have a lot of adjustment now for making sure that volume is really even in your streams. And the last one, obviously, is my own microphone. Bada bing, bada boom, pretty easy. All right, so I come here and I click OK. So it's the same as it was. And you can see that I'm being captured here. And then what we'll do next, I guess I'll use this one, the VOD of ours. We do a little waiting time with the game audio. Okay, so that's not playing. Last stream there. And you can see that's here now, but it's not there. And the last one is I can just take this guy on the playback side here and do test. Alright, a little louder than anticipated, but you can see that only moved the middle one. So they are effectively separated from each other. And that helps a little bit out for OBS, but that doesn't really take care of it for, okay, Metroid Prime. Alright, you're cool, you're awesome, hush. So, you could still technically just use OBS as you were. Where it really helps is with a program like TeamViewer, which we got right here. And so what it does, oh, you know what, I should probably get that out of here. There we go. So, what you can do with voice meter is go into options. Under meeting, there's a share computer sound and music checkbox. Then, any meeting you make here on this tab with a presentation will share the sound, but it can only share the default playback device, which is cable output, which is separated from Discord, because Discord's on the voice meter output. So you can see they're no longer being connected, so they get to hear the game sound and not hear themselves, and it's really cool. Alright. Now that's the free version. What's changed for me, this used to be more annoying because these cables, where'd they go? Come back into the playback devices. These cables here would normally deactivate when Voice Meter Banana isn't open. Like, they would become disconnected, I think. But for some reason, they're now staying open. I didn't update the program or anything. I don't know why it changed. So you may run into this happening to you where I can't actually explain why it's not happening to me. But the free version would then become just making sure that Voice Meter is open, the Voice Meter Banana. Make sure that your banana is unpeeled and opened for when you are trying to use this. So in either case, if you don't see these cables or they're causing any kind of trouble, the other way is the way that most people talk about. When you come back to this company here, VB Audio, and you come back to their virtual audio cable, and you come on down and you find their donate button. You can come in here, donate. I forget if you can specify what you want later, but the minimum here is $5. And when you donate them, they're going to give you, there's instructions down here on how to get it, 2 more install files that give you duplicate virtual audio cables A and B. And these are in no way reliant on the Voice Meter Banana or non-banana software being open or anything. They're just always there and they work just as great as cable input. Because I don't think I mentioned before, cable input is pretty stable. It doesn't need to turn on and off with Voice Meter. It's just these two. So this one is always on, these two don't. So when you get there, I can actually show you. This is about to get a lot longer. I usually keep these off. I got a lot of devices plugged in here, so when I go and show disabled, there's quite a few extra ones here, but here is A and B that I have. Enable. There we go. Recording side. Enable. And now I can turn this back off. There we go. So they show up, and it's essentially the same thing. Like, I picked cable A to be Discord. I set the listen to it, and I put that one as Discord here. I named Discord because it is Discord. It, keeps it easy. Boom. It's like that. Okay. So either method will work equally well. That's the only difference aside from making sure Discord is now set in OBS and all that. And that should be good. So that's something you can do to get a more stable version if you have anything that's causing you any pain with the free version. All right. Now, there's one downside to this. I am a lazy man. I like to leave cable input set as my default playback device all the time. Because, like I said before, when a program opens, it latches on to the current default playback device. Well, say you have it set to speakers, and you're like, oh, I want to share this game with somebody, or I want to stream it. And then you later change it to from speakers to cable input, the program may not realize it, and it'll stay on speakers, and you won't hear it, it will stop playing, and you either have to close the program, and reopen it, or even restart your computer sometime. So for me, it's just easier to leave it on cable input and go from there. Now, the reason why I say that is because while it's on cable input, your usual volume options don't work. Because the volume options, at least the ones that come default with your computer, like if you go to the volume mixer, get up here, there we go. Okay, so it's now doing cable input, but this bar doesn't care. This is not anything to do with your headphones. So you have to take this little box, switch it over to speakers like that, and you can see Discord and that one, they're all being listened to onto here. And if I do this, you can see that my volume on the actual computer and my headphones are being changed. So I can make it get quieter, like that. The problem is if you close that, come back to it, then send back to cable input again. So you can just keep changing it to speakers and go from there, and that's one way you can do it. You just have to remember when trying to do that. But if you have like a volume knob, or you got hotkeys like F1, F2 on top of your keyboard, they will not work while that's going. And so one other way I found was this program called Volume Squared. And what it does is it makes a duplicate sound icon, which I've turned off the original sound icon, but they exist side by side. But that's why you may have noticed that my menu looks a little weird even for Windows 10, is because it's actually a program called Volume Squared. And what it lets me do is here on the main tab, you get to set what device you want it to affect. So when I open this volume bar, like so, it actually affects, it actually affects what I'm hearing. And that's good. And at the same point, I can use hotkeys. Like I think I have it as like Control F, or is it just F3? There we go. So my actual keyboard can still do stuff like that. And so that it just lets me keep it as cable input as long as I can, and not have to juggle all these devices and have weird problems right before a stream. But that's completely optional. Like I said, you can just open your volume mixer and switch this to speakers, and that's just as easy. It just saves me like 20 seconds because I'm a lazy man. But anyway, so cool. All right, so that's it. Now it works out pretty good. Another cool thing that I'm going to add as a little bit of a bonus here at the end of the video is how to actually use the voice meter program that I was kind of showing you before. And that is that you can set different devices. Like you can see now that my voice is being captured here, and my default playback, which is the cable output, because this is a mic side, so it catches the mic side of the device for the output, would be here. So if I brought this back over here, and I juggled like 20 different screens, I hit play, it's there. Nice. Cool, Prime. All right, anyway, so from there, these are now combined, and they have two different outputs. Now, Voice Meter Banana is very complicated unless you output to 3 devices at once. So you can just say like I'll click here. So didn't expect that. So when you go 1, 2, and 3, you're saying that I want this column or this column to be sent out to all these devices. It can get pretty tricky, but the only thing I need to worry about at the moment is these are all set to B2. B1, that guy, is playback devices. Okay. B1 is input. B2 is the virtual or voice meter auxiliary input here, or output as it would be. So if I wanted to send it to the device that you list up here in the A1, because you have to list one, by the way. If this is red and flashing, you won't see anything dancing here. You won't see anything dancing here. You have to set something there. So I set it back to virtual input. So if I sent it, as you heard before, it'll loop it. But since it just has something there, I can use the virtual option, which is the B's, and send it to voice meter auxiliary input. It'd be nice if it was showing me a green bar here, but apparently it can't be that simple. So, what I can do to show you that that's happening is coming over to recording. Now go on to the properties of the auxiliary cable, put a listen, put it on the speakers, and now I'm twice. Okay. And then also... Oh. There we go. Okay, so Metroid was probably a bad example, but you could kind of hear that one twice. That means that this cable, voice meter auxiliary output, is hearing both of those combined into one channel now. And because they're on one channel, you can now come down... Get out of here. You can now come down to Discord again, and you're allowed to set that. Now the aux being the output here. Now again, I'm showing the free version, in case you guys didn't want to get cable A or B. You could also use instead cable A or B, and then set B as the cable here, and juggle all that. But, because you'll have 4 cables essentially if you do the donation. But I want to keep on the free version so that you guys don't have to spend any money if you don't want to, if you learn what I'm trying to show you here. Anyway. So I hope I'm keeping this clear, but as you can tell, this is pretty hard to explain. This is actually my 3rd take, but anyway, background stuff. So good. So now you can, with this, everyone listening to you through Discord will hear these. You definitely want to bring this down to like a negative 15 or so that you can be heard more clearly over the game or whatever you're playing through it. And that'll work. Because if you have, for any reason, a screen sharing program that doesn't share sound, I think like the Discord screen share they just added, it doesn't share sound, so you can use this as a way of putting your sound through Discord. Yeah, it's really easy that way, and that way people can do it, and that works out pretty good from there. Okay, and so that's basically one of the many things you can do with this setup once you have it set up, and I hope you guys have a lot of fun with it. Is there anything else I should mention before wrapping this up? Yes, okay, yes, there is one more thing, and that is upkeep. Because tonight, actually, there is a Windows update coming. And the nuisance of that is that not all of them, but like big, like, ooh, Windows 10 is gonna upgrade you to Windows 10.1 million or whatever. And when they do those big ones, these cables get renamed. I don't know about these. I think these are generally okay, but they may also get renamed. And you have to change this back to Discord, put this back to voice meter output, just to make sure they still make sense to you. And thankfully, the description never changes, so you won't get lost, because it'll all be renamed like speakers. Like, oh crap, well, which speakers is speakers? I don't know. I'm trying to fix all that and go through it from here. And so that doesn't usually do too bad. You always want to make sure after a big update too that the listens are all set correctly. That this doesn't get changed to default. Like if this stays on, this gets changed to default, then that means that what you're having is now being sent to cable input or output, and everything is just going to loop. So you always want to make sure that these stay on the device that plays back the sound and not cable input, or you'll have so many problems. And I think that's it. Like I said, very hard to explain. I hope I clearly made the difference between the free version and the paid version, like how to make those both work there. But if I didn't, let me know. Have any questions? I'll try to do what I can. I do know there's been some problems in the past with like certain computers, like audio cards, not being able to handle this kind of separation. If you're into that, I'm not sure if I'll be able to help you, unfortunately, but I will certainly do what I can with whatever question you ask. So go ahead and put it down there. If you have any tips, something that I've missed, or something we could do a little easier, or even other free ways of getting virtual audio cables, go ahead and put it down in the comments below. And yeah, I guess that's it. So you all have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, guys!